Hello, hello. Is this? Oh, cool. All right. Well, everybody, welcome back to a Let's Read. I can't even begin to remember when the last time I went live for a Let's Read was. I'm assuming it was probably summer of 2023, perhaps. We were reading The Crucible, maybe? The Pearl? Not too sure. Definitely not the Crucible. Um, it was like, I don't even remember. It was a good book though, I'm sure. Or Thomas More, was it? maybe. Well, I guess I just wanted to say welcome back. It's been a minute, and I got a little sparkling water here. Got some rice, beans, some chicken, some salsa, a little bowl. Um, and we're back. We're back. I am. I want to get back into just being a little bit more creative. Not necessarily like we're gonna be reading this the log from Sea Cortez. Not that necessarily me reading on live is anything creative, but I think I'm at a point right now where I need to get back into things that I used to do that just made me happy, things that I enjoyed. And that was just making silly little videos here on YouTube. And I hope sometime soon I'll strike strike some passion or strike some sort of uh, I don't know, creative itch, and I could provide maybe a video essay or something for this channel. More so for me. Like I really enjoyed doing little things like that back in the day, and I have time. I graduated from UC Davis recently. On the job hunt currently. It's been looking a little sparse. But like I want to tend to this. Oh, there we go. What's up? What's up, Nick? Um, Dude, hell yeah. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. I've been catching up on your staying up to date on your acting endeavors, man. Like good for you, dude. I'm so happy that you're out there already. Like congrats, bro. Hey, if you need an extra, let me know. Let me know. I think I got the chops. I think I got the chops. Not like you though. Not like you. Um uh Proud of you, bro. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, no, like I said, I hope to maybe put some stuff on this channel that I'm really proud of. More so for myself. I know that I don't really have a lot of folks out there, who are tuning into Alex Velasco. But um, yeah, man, or yeah, group. Like this channel is gonna be back, and I'm hyped. Yeah, yeah, we'll see, we'll see. But yeah, no, I'm reading Normal People right now. I'm like, I don't know, like 100 pages in. But I kind of wanted to start fresh. I wanted to start fresh with a new book. Because I got a lot of books here. I got a lot of books. I carbonated. Got a lot of books. I worked at the thrift store for about a year and a half, and collected books along the way. And it's about time that I actually read them. And I know I struggle with staying focused at times, and I remember this being like a really positive way for me to actually crack open a book and put in some work. So I have a bunch of Steinbeck books, and he's my favorite author. I'm sure some of you are aware. We read The Pearl on this channel quite a long time ago, I guess. At this point, I'm not sure if it was this channel specifically, um, but because I had one when I was in high school, and we were reading The Wealth of Nations, and it was probably the Pearl in that one too. But yeah, no, he's my favorite author, obviously, of Mice and Men. We got the Pony in there as well, Pearl, and I can't really say like someone's my favorite author. I've only read 3 of their books, so we gotta rack up. We got what else we got? We got in Dubious Battle here. We got what is this? The Winter of Our Discontent. We have The Grapes of Wrath, a really beautiful leather, green leather book. One of the greatest books of all time. Never read it, but hopefully that day will come. And then I also have, let's see, oh, The Winter of Our Discontent. Okay, so I have 2 of them, just two different versions. I guess 2 different types of covering. you know, so here, let's see. Oh shoot, hell yeah. Let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. Let's do it. So John Steinbeck, the log from the Sea of Cortez. Let's crack into it. I apologize if I stutter a little bit here. It's been a minute since I've opened. I don't know. It's been a minute since I've read out loud. You know. Okay, so it looks like this is gonna be. We got a little map. This must be where the story will be taking place in Baja California. It looks in the Gulf of California. Got a little path, a little voyage thing. So the log from the Sea of Cortez. I don't know why I was thinking it was like an actual tree stump. Let me make sure the introduction is not just like a exposition. And okay, let's just read. Let's just do it. Okay, never mind. Here, chapter 1. Probably read for a little bit. Low-key, I'm kind of procrastinating on applying to jobs right now too. I gotta what is it? Schedule a doctor's appointment too, so you know how it goes. Chapter 1. How does one organize an expedition? What equipment is taken? What sources read? What are the little dangers and what are the large ones? No one has ever written this. This information is not available. The design is simple as the design of a well-written book. Your expedition will be enclosed in the physical framework of start, direction, ports of call, and return. These you can forecast with some accuracy, and in the better-known parts of the world, it is possible to a degree to know what the weather will be in a given season, how high and low the tides will be, and the hours of their occurrence. One can know within reason what kind of boat to take, how much food will be necessary for a given crew, for a given time, what medicines are usually needed. All this subject to accident, of course. We have read what books were available about the Gulf, and they were few and in many cases confusing. The coast pilot had not been adequately corrected for some years. A few naturalists were with specialties had gone into the Gulf, and in the way of specialist had seen nothing they hadn't wanted to. Clavigero, a Jesuit of the 18th century, had seen more than most and reported what he saw with more accuracy than most. There were some romantic accounts by young people who had gone into the Gulf looking for adventure and, of course, had found it. The same romantic drive aimed at the stockyards would not be disappointed. From the information available, a few facts did emerge. The Sea of Cortez, or the Gulf of California, is long, narrow, and a highly dangerous body of water. It is subject to sudden and vicious storms of great intensity. The months of March and April are usually quite calm and dependable, and the March through April tides of 1940 were particularly good for collecting the littoral. See, for those who are new with my Let's Reads, I do like, if I do come across a word that I don't know, I do like to underline it, and I do like to look it up. just because it's good to expand that vocabulary. So let's see what littorial means. I'm assuming it's like, okay, yeah, here we go. Littorial, relating to or situated on the shore of the sea or a lake. So it's like a bank. I'm assuming it's like a shore or something that is on a shore. Littorial. Have fun. The maps of the region were self-possessed and confident about headlands, coastlines, and the depth, but at the edge of the coast, they become apologetic, laid in lagoons and dotted lines, supposed and presumed their boundaries. The coast pilot spoke as heatedly as it ever does about the myriads, the treachery of life, going back from the coast pilot to Clairvergy. I'm assuming that's like a place. We found more visual warnings in his accounts of ships broken. Oh wait, no, Clairvergy is a person. We'll see. Broken up and scattered, of wrecks and weirds, currents of 50 miles of sea more dreaded than any other. The coast pilot, like an elderly scientist, cautious and restrained on one side, and the old monks setting down ships and men lost and starvation in his inhospitable coasts. In the time of peace in the modern world, if one is thoughtful and careful, it is rather more difficult to be killed or maimed in the outlying places of the globe than it is in the streets of our great cities. But the atavistic urge toward danger persists and its satisfaction is called adventure. Wow. Wow. Atavistic. We could probably like assume what that means, like sort of like a unruly and unexplainable yeah, okay, so atavistic, relating to or characterized by reversion to something ancient. Reversion to something ancient. That's a cool word. Ancient or ancestral. So it's kind of like a primal. It's like a primal urge. But hey, we over here we're scholars, man. We don't say primal. We say atavistic. However, your adventurer feels no gratification in crossing Market Street in San Francisco against the traffic. Instead, he will go to a good deal of trouble and expense to get himself killed in the South Seas. It is reputedly rough water. You're gonna need a haircut. I'm gonna get a haircut. I'm just gonna buzz it all off. I'm just gonna buzz it all off. He will go in a canoe, he will invade deserts without adequate food, and he will expose his tolerant and inoculated and uninoculated blood of strange viruses. This is adventure. It is possible that his ancestor wearing of the humdrum attacks of the saber-tooth longed for the good old days of the pterodactyl, really? Pterodactyl? The pterodactyl and the triceratops. We had no urge toward adventure. We planned to collect marine animals in remote places on certain days and at certain hours indicated on the tide charts. To do this, we had, in so far as we were able to avoid adventure, our plans, supplies, and equipment had to be more, not less, than adequate, and none of us possessed of the curious boredom within ourselves, which makes adventurers or bridge players. Our first problem was to charter a boat. It had to be sturdy and big enough to go to sea, comfortable enough to live on for 6 weeks, roomy enough to work on, and shallow enough so that little bays could be entered. What's going on there? LMAO. They are dependable workboats with comfortable quarters and ample storage room. Furthermore, in March and April, the sardine season is over. and they are all tied up. It would be easy, we thought, to charter such a boat. There must have been nearly 100 of them anchored in the back of the breakwater. We went to the pier and spread the word that we were looking for such a boat for charter. The word spread all right, but we were not overwhelmed with offers. In fact, no boat was offered. Only gradually did we discover the state of mind of boat owners. They were uneasy about our project, Italian, Slavs, and some Japanese. They were primarily sardine fishers. They didn't even approve of fishermen who fished for other kinds of fish. They frankly um, didn't believe in activities of the land, road building and manufacturing and bricklaying. This was not a matter of ignorance on their part, but intensity. All the directionalism of thought and emotion that man was capable of went into sardine fishing. There wasn't room for anything else. An example of this occurred later when uh, we were at sea. Hitler was invading Denmark and moved up towards Norway. There was no telling when the invasion of England might begin. Our radio was full of static, and the world was going to hell. Finally, in the crackle of the noise of shortwave, one of our men made contact with another boat. The conversation went like this: "This is Western Flyer. Is that you, Johnny?" Yeah, that you, Sparky? Yeah, this is Sparky. How much fish you got? Only 15 tons. We lost the school today. How much fish you got? We're not fishing. Why not? We're going down to the Gulf to collect starfish and bugs, stuff like that. Oh, yeah? Well, okay, Sparky. I'll clear the wavelengths. Wait, Johnny, you say you only got 15 tons? That's right. If you talk to my cousin, tell him, will you? Yeah, I will. Johnny? Yeah, I will, Johnny. Western Flyer? All clear now. Hitler marched into Denmark and into Norway, France. Into Norway. France had fallen. The Marinot line was lost. We didn't know it, but we knew the daily catch of every boat within 400 miles. It was simply a directional thing. A man has only so much. And so it was with the chartering of a boat. The owners were not distrustful of us. They didn't even listen to us because they couldn't quite believe that we existed. We were obviously ridiculous. Now the time was growing short, and we began to worry. Finally, one boat owner who was in financial difficulty offered his boat at a reasonable price, and we were able to accept. When suddenly he raised the price out of question and bolted. He was horrified at what we were horrified at what he had done. He had raised the price not to cheat us, but out to get us out of going. The boat problem was growing. The boat problem was growing serious when Anthony Barry sailed into Monterey Bay on the Western Flyer. The idea was no shock to Tony. He had chartered to the government for salmon tagging in the Alaskan waters, and he was used to this nonsense. Besides, he was intelligent and a tolerant man. He knew that he had idiosyncrasies and that some of his friends had. He was willing to let us do anything that we wanted, so as long as we, one, paid a fair price, two, told him where we would go, three, did not insist that he um, endangered his boat, and four, we got back in time. Along with the fifth, didn't mix him up in our nonsense. His boat was not busy, and he was willing to go. He was a quiet young man, very serious, and a good master. He knew some navigation, a rare thing in the fishing fleet, and he had a natural caution, which we admired. His boat was new and comfortable and clean, the engines in fine condition. We took the Western Flyer on charter. Need some do some cardio or something. She was 76 feet long with 25-foot beam. Her engine 165 horsepower direct reversible diesel drove her at 10 knots. Her deck house had a wheel forward, and then the combination master's room, a radio room, then a bunk room, very comfortable, and behind that, the gallery. After the gallery, a large hatch gave into a fish hold, and after the hatch were the big turntable and roller for the purse seiner. Seiner. She carried a 20-foot skiff and a 10-foot skiff. Her engine was a thing of joy, spotlessly clean, and the moving surfaces shining and damp with oil, and the green paint fresh and new on the housings. The engine room floor was clean and all the tools polished and hung in their places. One look into the engine room inspired confidence in the master. We had seen other engines in the fishing fleet, and this perfection on the Western Flyer was by no means a general thing. As a crew, we signed Tex Travis, engineer, and Sparky Inya, Tiny Collecto, seaman. Not that kind. Um, all three were a little reluctant to go, for although the master had been as far as Cape San Lucas, and the Gulf has a really bad name. It was a thoughtful crew who agreed to go with us. We could never tell when the change of attitude toward us came, but it came very rapidly. Perhaps it was because Tony Barry was known as a cautious man who would not indulge in nonsense, or perhaps it was pure relief that at last it had been settled. All of a sudden we were overwhelmed with help. We had offers from men to go with us without pay. Sparky was offered a certain price for his job that was more than he would get from us. All he had to do was turn over his job and sit in Monterey and spend the money. Sparky refused. Our project had become honorable. We had more help than we could use and advice enough to move naives of the world. Okay. Um, we did not know what our crew thought of the expedition, but later in the field they became good collectors, a little emotional sometimes, as when Tiny, in outrage at being pinched, declared a war of extermination on the whole Sally Lightfoot species, but on the whole collectors of taste and quickness. The charter was signed with dignity and reverence. It is impossible to be lighthearted in the face of a ship charter, for the law has foreseen or remembered the most doleful and arbitrary acts of God and has set them down as possibilities, but in the tone of inevitabilities. Thus, you read what you and others must do in the case of a wreck or sunken rocks, of death at sea, and the most painful and astonishing aspects of injury to plank and keel, the water shortage and mutiny. Next to marriage settlement or sentence of death, a ship's charter is portinous. New word. Portentous. Portentous. What a fun word to say. The envelope. Okay, that I always hate when it's like of this or like the like base word and it doesn't tell you. Okay, so it's portentous is like an ominous feeling. As a like ominous, foreboding, done in a pompous or overly solemn manner, as to impress. I'm gonna say as to impress. Cool. Portentous. It's a fun word. Penalties are set down against both parties, and if on some morning the rising sun should find your ship in the middle of the Mojave Desert, you have only to look again at the charter to find blame assigned and penalty indicated. It took us several hours to get over the solemn feeling the charter put on us. We thought we might live better lives and pay our debts, and one at least, or and at least one of us contemplated for one wholly horrified moment a vow of chastity. But the charter was signed and food began to move into the Western Flyer. It is amazing how much food 7 people need to exist for 6 weeks. Cases of spaghetti, cases and cases of peaches, pineapples, tomatoes, Romano cheeses, canned milk, and coveys, flour, cornmeal, gallons of olive oil, tomato paste, crackers, cans of butter, jam, ketchup, rice, beans, and bacon, canned meats, vegetables, and soups in cans, truckloads of food. That's a, I'm gonna underline. I really liked how that sentence was structured. Um, and all this food was stored eagerly and happily by the crew. I mean, I hope so. Sounds like a lot of good food. It disappeared into the cupboards, under little hatches in the gallery floor, and many cases went below. We had done a good deal of collecting, but largely in temperatures or in temperate zones. The equipment for collecting, preserving, and storing specimens was selected on the basis of experience in other waters and in anticipation of difficulties imposed by a hot, humid country. In some cases, we were right. In others, we were wrong. In a small boat, the library should be compact and available. We had constructed a strong steel reinforced wooden case, the front of which hinged down to form a desk. This case holds about 20 large volumes and had two filing cases, one for separate scientific reprints and one for letters. A small metal box holds pens, pencils, erasers, clips, steel, tape, scissors, labels, pins, rubber bands, and so on and so forth. Another compartment contains a 3 by 5-inch card file. There are cubby holes for envelopes, large separates, small separates, typewriter paper, carbon, a box of India ink and glue. The construction of the front makes room for a portable typewriter, drawing board, and T-square. God, I need a better chair. There's a long, narrow space for rolled charts and maps. Closed, this compact and complete box is 44 inches long by 18 by 18. Loaded. It weighs about 300 or 400 pounds. It was designed to rest on a low table or in an unused bunk. Its main value is its compactness, completeness, and its accessibility. We took it aboard the Western Flyer. There was no table for it to rest on. It did not fit in the bunk. It could not be put on the desk because of the moisture and ended up lashed to a rail on top of the deck house covered with several layers of turlupin and was roped on. Because of the roll of the boat, and it had to be tied down all the time. It took about 10 minutes to remove the tarpaulin, unite the lashing line, open the cover, squeeze down between two crates of oranges, read the title of wanted books upside down, remove it, close the lash, and cover the box again. But if there had been a low table or a large bunk, it would have been perfect. For many little errors like this, we had concluded that all the collecting trips to fairly unknown regions should be made twice, once to make mistakes and one to collect them. Some of the greatest difficulties lie in the fact that previous collectors have never set down the equipment taken and its success or failure. We propose to rectify this on our account. Oh, let me put this away. Swag. Oh, Lord. The library contained all the separates then available on the Panamic and Gulf of Funa. Primarily volumes such as Johnson, Snook, Ricketts and Calvin, Russell and Young, Flatley and Walton, Keep's West Coast Shells, Fisher's 3-volume Starfish monography, the Rathbun Bachrun monography, Schmidt's Marine Deepak of Crustacea of California, Fraser's Hydroids, Barnhart's Marine Fishes of Southern California, Coast Pilot for the whole Pacific Coast, charts, both large and small scale, of the whole region that we will be covering. The camera equipment was more than adequate, for it was never used. It included a fine German reflex and an 8 millimeter movie camera with a tripod, light meters, and everything. But we had no cameraman. During low tides, we all collected. There was no time to dry hands and photograph all the collecting scene. Later, the euthanizing, killing, preserving, and labeling of specimens were so important that we still took no pictures. It was an error in personnel. There should have been a cameraman who does not. There should have been a cameraman who does nothing but take pictures. Our collecting material was at least good: shovels, raking, and abalone bars, nets, long-handed dip nets, wooden fish kits, and a number of 7-cell flashlights for night collecting were taken. Containers seemed to go endlessly into the hold of the Western Flyer: wooden fish kits with heads, 20 hard fur barrels with galvanized hoops in 15 and 30-gallon sizes, cases of gallon jars, quart, pint, 8-ounce, 5-ounce, and 2-ounce screw cap jars, several gross of corked vials in 4 chief sizes, 100 by 33 millimeter, and a half gallon jars with screw caps. And with all these, we ran short of containers, and before we were through, had to crowd those we had. This was unfortunate, since many delicate animals should be preserved separately to prevent injury. Oh, that makes me sad. Of chemicals, we had to put in the boat of a 15-gallon barrel of USP formaldehyde and a 15-gallon barrel of denatured alcohol. This was not nearly enough alcohol. The stock had been to be replenished in the Guamas, where we bought 10 gallons of pure sugar alcohol. We took 2 gallons of Epsom salt for anesthetization, and again ran out and had to buy more in the Guamas. Menthol, chromic acid, and Novocaine, all for relaxing the animals, were included in the chemical kit. Of preparing equipment, there were glass chitin plates and strings, lots of rubber gloves, graduates, forceps, and scalpels. Our binocular microscope was fitted with 12-volt light, but on the rolling boat, the light was so difficult to handle that we used a spot flashlight instead. We had galvanized iron nested trays of 15 to 25 gallons capacity for gross hardening and preservation. We had enameled and glass trays for laying out specimen in one small examination aquarium. The medical kit had been given a good deal of thought. There were Nembutal bustine picrate for sunburn, and a thousand 2-grain quinine capsules. I don't think I'm going to look up these words because they're just like science jargon. 2% mercuric oxide salve for barnacle cuts, cathartics, ammonia, mercurochrome, iodine, alcaroid, and last some whiskey for medicinal purposes. This did not survive our leave taking, but since no one was ill the whole trip, it may have done its job very well. And that, my friends, is chapter 1 of the log from Sea of Cortez. We got this cool Pokemon, what is it? Colossal, Obsidian Flames bookmark that we'll be using for this journey. Yeah, I can't wait to get back on this and continue this journey. And yeah, I hope to have some new stuff on the channel soon. I don't know. We'll see. Like, I don't got like equipment. I mean, for those who know, it's not like my videos were anything like anything crazy. But I guess I liked it. That's what mattered. So, but yeah, I'll see you around for Let's Read Part 2. Thank you.